for some reason, Naobito Zen'in has been released on the global side of Phantom Parade, technically making this guy an anniversary unit, I guess. Maybe. So I ask you this question. Granted, you can probably gather from my tone that the answer to said question is more than likely going to be a negative response, but I'll ask you this anyway. Should you summon for Naobito Zen'in? No. The decision to release Naobito now on global, why the best blue DPS's banner is still active, confuses me. And it's even more confusing when you look at JP and how much more hype stuff is going on in that version of the game. So right now, global feels like a bit of a confused mess, and it is very much baffling to me. But that's not the unit's fault, so let's break down Naobito, his kit, and discuss why I personally believe you should not summon for him. So as you could tell from the intro and my tone of voice, I'm very confused as to why Naobito has been released instead of literally anyone else, to be honest. Anyone would have been more hyped than Naobito. I'll say this to you now, he feels very much like a trap banner. Do not summon for him, right? In the sense that right now on global, blue Yuta's banner is still up for like another week, about 5-6 days I think. Yet they've added a new blue DPS when an objectively better one is literally still active, and you also got like 50 odd tickets, if not more, to summon for him. So I'd say don't summon for Naobito. It's a trap banner. You're better off summoning on literally the JJK0 banner or the blue Yuta banner. Both provide more value than Naobito. In layman's terms, I would say it's because Naobito is in a similar boat to Yellow Toji, where they have a fun and unique kit, but they are very much outshined by others who do similar things but better. Naobito overall is kind of like Yellow Mechamaru, focused around break damage and some counters and some fun gimmicks. Like, he has follow-up attacks and counter attacks, which is cool, but at the same time, he lacks one thing which a lot of those kits need. Like, when a kit is heavily focused around counterattacks, you need provocation. This dude doesn't have any provocation. Like, he has dodges and counterattack states, but his lack of provocation makes him weaker. Yes, he can give himself, when he does a counter, he buffs everyone's stats. That is nice, that's good, but it's relatively inconsistent, so it's not good enough to rely on. What I will say one thing about this though, that the fact that I'm pretty sure he's technically an anniversary unit on global, yet despite the fact we didn't get like a free multi, you just get like the standard event multi from like doing the event and getting the tickets through that. Like, whilst on JP they'll just give you a free multi or two to spend on the new banners, but whatever. This is just very confused in my opinion. This anniversary kind of on global is kind of whack at the moment. But one thing I wanted to show you is that they clearly just kind of ported the event over from the JP version, because like all events, you'll get a type bonus depending on like what the new character is, right? So since Nabito is a new blue character, all blue characters will give a results buff to the amount of stuff you get from his event, which is fine, right? But it's very clear that they just kind of took the version of the event from the JP side and didn't change it, because blue Yuta wasn't in the JP version of the game yet, so he doesn't even get the 5% bonus. Because they skipped so many characters, even the event doesn't work properly. I know this isn't a big deal, but it just goes to show how kind of, not necessarily lazy, but just strange this entire like order of events have been going on the global side, which I might make just a rant about later. Right now it feels like the Naobito stuff is just pretty lazy, but let's just quickly go through his kit on a whole and talk about him. So Naobito overall is a unique and fun unit. As I said, he's like Yellow Toji or kind of like Green Miwa, just where like they're fun to use but not optimal, right? When you look at his kit and all his auto skills, it can be very intimidating, and you might think it's like blue Sukuna, where it's like, oh, since there's a lot here, it must mean they're like awesome. No, not necessarily the case. Basically, his gimmick is, you know, building up projection sorcery states, which you get each turn and you get by doing moves and stuff. But as I said, he does hybrid damage. Hybrid damage is decent, not necessarily a bad thing. Hybrid damage is good. Provides, you know, increased break percentages, which is good. That increases with the amount of moves he does and the amount of turns he gets, which is also good. He can get up to 5 states. Great. Gives himself a chance to evade. Also good. Gives himself ult gauge if they get put in a break or they're already broken. Great. Like, you read all this stuff and it looks really good on paper, but when you actually use him and stuff like that, you realize that they look like a lot, but he's just not doing enough damage. He is good. Here's the thing. He's not like a bad unit. He's not like a Red Marky or something where they are 100% completely outshined by Red Toji and there's a flat replacement. His kit is relatively unique to blue because there isn't anyone who does this much break damage. But at the same time, blue Yuta's banner is active right now on global, and he will do just so much more damage overall. There isn't really a point to getting this dude. Same with Miguel. Miguel can provide similar buffs and he tanks better and he has provocation. Yes, he can't dodge, but he'll just last longer as more survivability in my opinion. So Miguel's better, Yuta's better. Why would you summon on this banner? Like, he is fun, he does okay damage. Not phenomenal, he does okay damage. Like, he is a DPS at the end of the day. I'm pretty sure he's classed as attacker. Yeah, he builds up stacks. He does have the cool gimmick of, you know, when a domain is active, he does falling blossom emotion. Really cool, like a nice little reference. You're not going to see that a lot. You'll see that on like unique flaws. Like I'm pretty sure a lot of the Mahitos in Illusory Tower are blue, so you could maybe get some use out of that, which is pretty neat. But do some of the Mahitos, when they get popping ult, do they just do idle transfiguration? I don't think all of them do domain, but that's besides the point. You might see this every once in a while, but it's not like a huge deal. It's just like a cool gimmick, you know. It's fun to look at and fun to see, but it's nothing huge, right? Yet again, a lot more break damage stuff. He gets stacks of projection sorcery. They're not like every time. There's a lot going on with his kit, but a lot of it you want him to counter to buff himself, debuff the enemies, and buff the team in general. But as I said, he doesn't really have provocation, which a lot of his kit is centered around counter attacks and the buffs those provide. It's not the main focus of his kit. His main focus is break damage more than anything else. But since he is like a lot of stuff provides counters, you're going to want counters, but it's a 1 in 4 chance. There's 4 people on your team, so it's very much not guaranteed that he'll get hit. He will be weak to AoEs as well. He doesn't have a massive amount of HP too, so he is like not even a glass cannon. He's a glass Glock, okay? He is doing fun stuff. He's doing cool stuff, but he's not doing as much damage as Yuta or Sukuna, and he doesn't last as long as Yuta or Sukuna. He's arguably doing more break damage, even though the amount of damage those two do kind of outshines Naobito so much they'll be doing similar break damage. Either way, there's not really too much to say about this guy. Should you summon for him? No, do not summon for him. Use your 10 tickets. If you get him, good for you. You've got a fun and unique unit. If you don't pull him, he'll be added to the standard pool around the same time as Mei probably. Like I imagine they'll put all like the Shibuya-esque units in a pile and just add them to the standard pool at some point. Who knows? But he's nothing crazy. There's really not much else to say about him. He's just break damage focused. As I say, very similar to Yellow Mechamaru, but Yellow Mechamaru does more damage. He guarantees counter with his provocation. Not much else to say. Genuinely, like, ironically enough, even with all this, like, all the word salad you see that he has 3 auto skills and you think he's going to be absolutely cracked and insane. It's not that deep. It says a lot, but there's not a lot going on, to be honest. He's fun, not great. He's good. He's not like the worst blue DPS. Like, he's better than Ino in my opinion. He's better than a couple of other blue DPSs who are pretty mid, but not great. Not much else to say. This anniversary is really annoying me, to be honest, because you just look over at JP and you're like, wow, 4 new units, and they're all relatively hype. And then you look at global, and it's like, skip 4 units, and then immediately double back to Naobito. It's like, bruh. I genuinely think people might kind of lose faith in the game a little bit. I don't know if people are going to stop playing because of this release. I think it's genuinely strange. Like, yes, I feel like the devs are like, they have to get these 4 units out of the way that they skipped, because they wanted an anniversary unit that was going to be hype, and out of the 5 units that weren't out yet, which was this Naobito, Jogo, Red Gumi, and Kusakabe, and Blue Yuta. Yuta was obviously going to be the most hype because he's the fan favorite out of those 5, despite how much I love Kusakabe. So obviously they were going to pick Blue Yuta. So they skipped those 4 just to then immediately double back and then add Naobito. I mean, it shows because they forgot to even give him the extra 5% buff, despite the fact that he is blue. It's kind of goofy. There's not much else to say. The anniversary on Global is a bit of a shambles right now. And then you look at JP, you're like, wow, that Fuga Sukuna, I didn't really want a Fuga Sukuna, but he looks cool. Same with Red Mahito, looks really cool and is really strong. Red Yuji looks cool and is really strong. Green Toji looks peak, and I would rather him so much more over Naobito and Blue Yuta, to be honest, but hey, what can you do? I feel like they're just going to try and get out the units that they skipped out really quickly, then maybe they'll add some of the anniversary. I don't know. Right now, Global's just in a confusing state. Yeah, not much else to say. Towards my dose, obviously the next one. Peace.